So, very brief preamble for context. I think it's useful to reiterate the distinction, as acknowledged by Minister Teo, between an individual acknowledging that the NRIC number is neither a foolproof nor secure method for personal identification, and hence may be desensitized, and the same individual consenting and being comfortable with their NRIC being released or broadly disseminated. So I think most Singaporeans will agree with the former, but strongly disagree with the latter. And my questions have to do with the implications of this distinction. For Minister Teo, going forward, would the government's policy of desensitizing the NRIC also lead to difficulties in the practical implementation of low-grade access restrictions, such as passwords for PDF documents, like she mentioned early on, that contain confidential but not secret information? And relatedly, if there have been any studies, feasibility studies on what a widespread desensitized NRIC policy could mean for the day-to-day operation of businesses in our economy. And for Minister Indrani, if indeed it was within the government's rights to release personal information on company directors according to the ACRA Act, could this then deter individuals from being willing to take up directorships, especially for small and micro businesses where friends and family are often roped in as directors? And if so, whether some kind of opt-out clause for deep personal information, including address and NRIC, beyond just the name, for directors for such small firms, would be possible, because at least for smaller firms, these kind of deep due diligence may not be necessary.
Mr. Speaker, two quick responses to Dr. Jamus Lim. First, I believe that his opening sentence in his preamble is erroneous. We did not say that the NRIC number is not suitable for identification. It is an identifier. It is a unique identifier. So it has to be used for identification. It is authentication that it should not be used for. You can use it to identify a person. You cannot use the NRIC number to prove that the person is who he claims to be. So I would encourage Dr. Lim. I do appreciate that there's a lot to take on board. So I would refer him to the specific statements on this topic, drawing a distinction between the NRIC number as an identifier and as an authenticator, so that we could have a proper understanding of what it is. The second response to his comments is that I'm not sure that it's useful to characterize what we are doing as desensitizing. As I explained, we are not making a change to allow the full NRIC number to be widely disclosed. The only change that we are making is to stop the incorrect uses of NRIC numbers as authenticators and as passwords. Nowhere in this description is there a need to refer to desensitization. I'm not sure that that characterization applies to what we are seeking to do, and I would encourage members not to use this characterization. To reiterate, we are not making a change to allow full NRIC numbers to become widely disclosed. The only change we are making is to stop incorrect uses of NRIC numbers as authenticators and as passwords.
Associate Professor Jamus Lim asked whether, the ability to make known NRIC numbers might deter individuals from taking up directorships, and whether there can be some kind of opt-out clause. I think it is necessary to go back to first principles and really the very basics of corporate governance. The reason why you have information available is for corporate transparency. And why do you have corporate transparency? It is to protect the public. You must protect the public because anybody who sets up a business and transacts with the public interfaces with a member of the public. And that member of the public transacting with you may run into difficulties or issues and must then know who they are dealing with. So let's say let's take an example that people can relate to. Let's say your home renovation. Most times, it could be a company, or let's say it's a sole proprietorship. It's Mr. Wong trading as, general renovations. And the name card will say general renovations. You have no idea who general renovations company is. You will go to Accra, you will search general renovations, and you will find that it is Mr. Wong trading as general renovations. But there could be many other Mr. Wongs as well. So you need to know which Mr. Wong, because if your renovations wasn't done properly and you need to claim a refund, or you need to sue him, for example, you need to know who you're dealing with. So it is the essence of a business register or corporate register that you must know and be able to identify the specific individual or entity that you are dealing with. Hence, it's actually looking at it through the lens in a different way. So if anybody has a concern that they do not wish to have their NRIC known, and for that reason don't become a corporate director, I think that perhaps may be a step too far. But anyway, the bottom line is, in our regime, as well as in many other countries, if you're going to do business that transacts with the public has to know who you are and to be able to contact you. To the extent that we can make some concessions, we have done so. So, for example, for residential address, for example, under the last round of amendments, you can now put a separate contact address. So if somebody needed to sue you, they could leave the writ of summons at your office. They don't necessarily have to go to your residence. So we've made some shifts. But I think on identification, there's no running away from the fact that you still need to be able to identify the individual you're dealing with.